Sundaramurti Nayanar. Sundaramurti Nayanar lived in the 8th century. He was a great devotee of Lord Shiva. He sang the glories of Lord Shiva at all the sacred places that he visited. These hymns are called as Devaram. They have been collected into a book form and all devotees sing the Devaram even today. Sundarar had the Sakya Bhava or the attitude of a friend towards the Lord. He freely demanded of the Lord whatever he wanted. He did not do so with any selfish desire, however. Whatever he asked for was for the sake of those who were dependent on him. He lived for only 18 years. Sundaramurti Nayanar was born in Tirunavallur, where the entire atmosphere was full of spiritual vibrations and Shaivism was well established. In this place there lived a pious, devout, and respected Brahmin by name Sadayanar, whose ancestors were all ardent devotees of Lord Shiva. Isaignaniyar was his faithful wife. She gave birth to a divine child whom the parents named Nambi Arurar after his grandfather. However, the king of that place, Narasingha Munayar, happened to see the beautiful child. He liked him. He wanted to bring him up himself and asked for the parents' permission. Sadayanar, whose mind was full of dispassion and who was not attached to anything in this world, immediately complied with the king's wish. Chapter 1. An old Brahmin arrives. The boy grew up under royal care. At the proper age, the parents wanted to get their son married. However, just when the ceremony was to begin, an old Brahmin with sacred ash on his body, Rudraksha around his neck, and matted locks on his head appeared and said, "This man, Arurar, is my bond slave. I have a document to that effect executed by his grandfather. He cannot marry." This put an end to the ceremony. Sundarar and the old Brahmin left the place. The young bride fixed her mind on the holy feet of Sundarar, shed her mortal coil, and attained the immortal abode of Lord Shiva. Sundarar and the old man had a heated argument. Sundarar asked him, "Who are you, and from where have you come?" To which the Brahmin replied, "I belong to Tiruvennai Nellur." Sundarar called him a liar and said, "Come, let us go to Tiruvennai Nellur and get this dispute settled by the wise men there." At Tiruvennai Nellur, before an assembly of wise men, the old Brahmin produced the document. After examining the witnesses cited in the document and verifying the grandfather's signature, the assembly confirmed the old man's claim. Sundarar had to accept it as God's will. Followed by all of them, the Brahmin entered the temple of Thirarulturai on the pretext of showing them his house and promptly vanished. Sundarar understood that the old Brahmin was none other than the Lord himself who had appeared to save him from the shackles of samsara. He was afflicted very much at heart that he had not recognized the Lord earlier. He cried aloud. The Lord appeared again before him and blessed him. "O noble soul, you are already my bhakta. You were in my abode in Kailasha before this birth as a man. A wrong thought made you take this birth. Now I have myself come to save you." Chapter 2. The Divine Meeting. Sundarar later visited several holy places and sang the praise of the Lord in all of them. He came to Adigai Virattanam, the sacred place where Lord Virateswarar presided. That night, when Sundarar was asleep, the Lord, in the guise of an old man, entered the mutt where he stayed. The old man lay down close to where Sundarar was sleeping and pretended to sleep. He then placed his feet on the head of Sundarar. When Sundarar objected to this, the old man apologized. Sundarar went over to another corner of the room. There too, the old man repeated the same action. Sundarar, however, did not lose his temper. He calmly asked him for his identity and explanation for the abnormal behavior. "Oh friend, don't you know me?" asked the Lord and disappeared. Sundarar realized that it was again the Lord himself. Since he had not gone into the place for Lord Shiva's darshan, the Lord himself had come out to where the devotee was. Sundarar again continued his pilgrimage. At Chidambaram, he went into a trance even as he saw the temple tower. In his ecstasy, he rolled on the ground and shed profuse tears of love. He had the darshan of Lord Nataraja. A heavenly voice commanded him to go to Tiruvarur. After he visited many shrines, Sundarar came to Tiruvarur. The Lord appeared to the Brahmins of Tiruvarur and asked them to receive Sundarar with due honors. They did so as Sundarar was worshipping the Lord in the temple. He heard a heavenly voice, "Sundarar, I have made you my friend. I prevented you from getting married. Hereafter, you will appear forever as a bridegroom and sport on earth." Immediately, Sundarar became a handsome bridegroom. People called him Tambiran Todar, or the friend of God. In Tiruvarur, there was a chaste woman by name Paravayar. Daily, she would go to the temple and worship the Lord with faith and devotion and sing his glories. One day, she came to the temple as usual with her friends to worship the Lord. At the same time, Sundarar with his devotees entered the temple. Prompted by some past karma, Sundarar was attracted by Paravayar's beauty. Paravayar, who had seen Sundarar in the temple, also fell in love with him and wanted to marry him. He wanted to marry her and approached the shrine of the Lord with this thought. The Lord was his friend, and so Sundarar expressed his desire to the Lord. Chapter 4. Marriage of Sundarar. The marriage was preordained by Lord Shiva himself, and he appeared to both of them at night in their dreams and told them that they would get married. He also commanded his devotees in dream to arrange for the wedding of Paravayar and Sundarar the very next day. This was done accordingly to the joy of both Paravayar and Sundarar. It was Paravayar's custom to distribute plenty of money and other articles in charity on Pangani Uttaram, a festival day. Sundarar went to Tirupugalur and prayed to the Lord to give him gold for the sake of Paravayar. That night he slept there with a few bricks as his pillow. The next morning he woke up to find that all the bricks had been converted into gold. Sundarar was surprised at this miracle of Lord Shiva and sang his glory and returned to Tiruvarur. On the way he had a vision of the Lord. Once when Sundarar went out on another pilgrimage again, on the way he was afflicted with hunger and thirst. The Lord, who is in the indweller of our hearts, erected a watershed and was waiting for Sundarar in the guise of a Brahmin. Sundarar and the devotees entered the shed singing the Panchakshara. The Brahmin offered him food and water and asked the retinue to rest a while. All of them appeased their hunger, but lo, the quantity of the food remained the same. When they were resting after food, the Lord disappeared. It dawned on them eventually that the man was none other than Lord himself. Sundarar burst forth into a song alluding to this incident. We shall continue about the life of Sundarar in the next episode. Om Namah Shivaya.